3 months ago, Denny Hamlin's mom pulled her husband out of a burning house with her bare hands. Last night, she stood in front of county leaders, tears rolling down her face, and said something nobody expected. Mary Lou Hamlin walked up to the podium at the Gaston County Board of Commissioners meeting on March 25th. Her daughter Lisa stood on one side. Denny's wife Jordan stood on the other. Local firefighters lined up behind her, and then she spoke. December 28 was one of the saddest days of my life. It was the last time I saw my husband of 52 years when I pulled him out of our burning home. Let me take you back to that night. December 28th, 2025. It was a Sunday evening, right around 6 o'clock. A fire broke out at the Hamlin family home on Black Snake Road in Stanley, North Carolina. By the time fire trucks got there, the whole two-story house was already swallowed up by flames. Dennis Hamlin, who was 75 years old, and Mary Lou, who was 69, somehow made it out of the house, but both of them had what officials called catastrophic injuries. Dennis was rushed to the hospital. He didn't make it. He died that same night. Mary Lou was airlifted by helicopter to a burn center in Winston-Salem, where doctors treated her for severe burns. 2 family pets, a dog and a cat, also died in the fire. The house burned all the way to the ground. Almost nothing was left. And here's what makes it even worse. December 28th appears to have been Dennis and Mary Lou's wedding anniversary. They had been married 52 years. Dennis had also been fighting a serious lung disease called COPD. His health was already going downhill. Now, what Mary Lou told those county leaders really shook people. She said the fire trucks showed up, but there was no water to put out the fire. Think about that for a second. The trucks were there. The firefighters were there, but the water was not. I didn't understand at the time that the fire trucks were there but not the water. There was no water to put out my house. It took about 2 hours to fully put out the fire because of this water problem in the area. A fire report came out on February 20th and said the fire was accidental. It started in a bedroom, but the exact cause is still listed as unknown because the house was so badly damaged. The total damage came to over $776,000. Mary Lou wasn't just there to tell her story. She was there to fight for change. She asked the county to put money in this year's budget for better fire protection, more training, more equipment, more firefighters. I am hoping by doing this, no other family has to experience what we had to go through. Please, please, please help by including funds for your budget this year. Denny's sister Lisa Chapman also stepped up to the microphone, and what she said painted an even clearer picture of that awful night. There's nothing worse than pulling up to the fire, to the house on fire, and seeing everybody standing in the road. No water being thrown on the fire. Lisa said she thought she was in shock. She said when Mary Lou woke up after the fire, one of the first things she asked was why no water was thrown on the house. Lisa pointed out that the pets were still inside at that point, and while Dennis had already passed, she believes other things could have been saved if water had been available. The Gaston County leaders are working on next year's budget right now. It goes up for a vote in May, so the Hamlin family is hoping their words make a real difference. Now, when this fire happened back in December, the whole NASCAR world came together. Denny broke his silence on social media on New Year's Eve, writing, "Thank you to everyone who has reached out with condolences on my father's passing. My mother continues to improve, and our family truly appreciates the outpouring of support and the respect for our privacy during this time." NASCAR put out a statement saying Dennis gave his son a love of racing and made huge sacrifices to help Denny become one of the best ever. Fellow drivers like Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson all sent prayers. Richard Petty and his family did the same. It was a tough time for the whole sport. To really understand this loss, you need to know what Dennis meant to Denny's career. Dennis got Denny into racing. He took his son to a racetrack when Denny was just 5 years old. Dennis ran Denny's first race team out of a garage at his business called Chesterfield Trailer and Hitch. The family gave up almost everything to keep Denny racing. They nearly lost their house more than once. Just 2 months before the fire, in October 2025, Denny won his 60th career race at Las Vegas. He climbed out of the car crying. His dad's health was failing, and he knew time was running out. "He's the one that got me into racing, took me to a racetrack when I was 5. They made all the sacrifices financially to keep me going. He sold everything we had. We almost lost our house a couple times. just trying to keep it all going. So I'm glad he was able to see 60. That was super important to me. That turned out to be the last race Denny won while his father was alive. The offseason that followed was brutal. Denny lost the championship at Phoenix in overtime after leading all day. Then the fire took his dad. Then, while going through the burned rubble, he re-tore a shoulder muscle that had already sidelined him in 2023. On top of that, he had spent 9 days in court over a lawsuit between his team 2311 Racing and NASCAR. Denny admitted he was in a completely different headspace than everyone else. But Denny Hamlin didn't quit. He came back for his 21st season in the Cup Series. He finished 31st in the Daytona 500. He sat 23rd in points after the second race. Things looked rough. And then, on March 15th, Denny went back to Las Vegas, the same track where he had cried for his dad 5 months earlier. He overcame a speeding penalty, held off Chase Elliott, and won his 61st career victory. He moved into 10th place on the all-time NASCAR wins list. The only names above him now are legends, like Richard Petty, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Johnson, and Kyle Busch. But what happened after the race is what really got people. His wife Jordan, his daughters Taylor and Molly, his baby son Jameson, and his mom Mary Lou all came down to meet him at the finish line. There were tears everywhere. This is a family sport, and my family obviously had so much sacrifice to help me get here. It's great that Mom gets to see this. I know Dad's still saying, "That's my boy." Speaking of family, Denny's oldest daughter Taylor has been a bright spot through all this darkness. She's 13 now, and fans have been amazed by her talent. She played the lead role of Dorothy in a school show of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, singing the famous song and leaving audiences stunned. She also sang at a big charity event called Catwalk for a Cause in front of about 400 people. Fans online called her a star in the making. As for what's next, Denny says his goal is around 67 career wins before he retires, probably after 2027. He's only 2 wins from passing Kyle Busch on the all-time list. But Denny says catching Dale Earnhardt at 76 wins is, in his words, pie in the sky. His real dream is the championship, the one thing that has escaped him his whole career. Denny is also making noise as a team owner. His 2311 racing team with Michael Jordan started 2026 by winning 3 straight races with Tyler Reddick. Michael Jordan gave Denny all the credit for building the team. Kevin Harvick called the Hamlin-Jordan partnership dangerous and said Denny deserves huge praise. But through all the wins and all the records, it always comes back to family. Mary Lou Hamlin did not stand at that podium for attention. She stood there so that the next family that has a fire in their home might actually have water to fight it.